Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Bobby D back again with another hot and juicy video. And guys, I'm joined by my good friend Steve Cook here in Austin to help y'all.
Thanks for having me back, Bobby.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steve. And guys, it's been, like I said, 14 days since I've had my hair transplant, a second procedure. And you're probably wondering why I'm bald or why I shaved my head. And that's why Steve's here and kind of explain to y'all why I did that before my hair surgery. So Steve, take it away.
Yeah, well, it's kind of twofold. So first of all, you didn't tell me you were shaving your head, and you sent me a video it was a video or was it a picture of shaving your head? I'm like, oh.
So we know it's real.
No! Shit! Shit!
Shaving your head? Come on. Like, no, but it actually, it was kind of caught me off guard. Shaving your head, if you can handle it, looking bald for an extended period of time, it's the best way to, have your hair transplant with your doctor, because it's easier to see, obviously. The staff and everybody, it's a lot easier to work with. So anybody out there that's considering a hair transplant, in the old days, I would be like, there's nobody out there that's going to let us shave their head. But now, as this is getting such an amazing procedure where we can pack so much hair in one procedure and extract, for that matter, it's important that these teams, this doctor, they're able to kind of work with each other and get in there. So the better the kind of surface area and the clearer path, the better. So congratulations on making a great decision as far as that goes. One of the things I wanted to point out with you having a shaved head and having a hair transplant bring to everyone's attention is I have my own personal kind of issues with guys that get hair transplants. They spend all this money, it's a lot of money, and then they go and shave their heads. So I don't want to, kind of talk about generational differences in hairstyles, okay? But, the whole point with a transplant, if you think about it this way, is there's no more hair that's being created. Not yet. Well, I don't know about my lifetime, maybe yours. But what we're doing is, from an industry standpoint, we're taking hair out of one zone and we're putting it in another. So the concept is you don't need all that hair in the donor zone to make it look the same, because it's really too much hair. And the illusion or the impression of the hair won't change if you go down to close to 50%. So now you got all this hair. That's why hair transplant, one of the reasons why hair transplant is successful. You're taking it out of the back, as long as that's done properly, and you're putting it into an area where you're going bald. So the combination of the medication, which stops the balding in its tracks, hopefully, and you replace that zone with hair, voila, we have our hair back. But do we really have our hair back? We don't really have any more hair on our head that we had when we were going bald. So how does this all work? And the way it works is that a hair transplant takes very strong anagen hairs, or what I call them kind of, very like alpha male-ish in the male body, or the male, actually in female as well. If they're stronger in the back, it won't look as feminine, and that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother set of videos. But what it does is it gets youthful hair, stronger hair, hairs that's not thinning, it's not being miniaturized by the DHT, and it puts it in the front. And voila, you look younger again. So it all works. The problem is when we start to shave our heads, you can see the spacing from the transplants, because there's no doctor in the history of this industry that is able to duplicate Mother Nature in one procedure, maybe even in 2 or 3 procedures, because you have scar tissue in there. So as an example, I had a conversation with a African-American young man from the East Coast over the weekend, and he has no hair loss. He just has a little bit of an irregular, shape to his hairline, and he has a very large forehead. Now, I saw his photo, I thought he looked fine, and the first thing I did was try to talk him out of it, of course. But he wants to, kind of shrink his forehead, and I just got through to him that that's not a good idea, because when you start doing hair transplants, let's just say for one finger width, that amazing hair that he had, that he doesn't have any hair loss, that is going to overwhelm the transplants, and it's going to look like 2 separate zones. Do you follow me? So it's going to look like, wow, it looks like someone did a hair transplant to lower your hairline. I mean, that's exactly what it's going to look like. And another reason I'm bringing that up is because he shaved his head and it was a very low cut. So if he actually grew his hair out and had like that afro kind of look, then that is something we can have a conversation about. I still wouldn't be a buyer when it comes to lowering a hairline of someone without hair loss and when he looked that good. But the afro type amazing kink and curl could overwhelm the differences in the two lines. I hope I'm making sense. I'll say it one more way, okay? Is that when a hair transplant is allowed to kind of grow out, you don't need as many hairs to kind of make it look like there's less hair, right? Or there's more hair. But when you cut it too short, it's when the illusion goes away. So think about it. You've got this really strong hair back here. You put it right here, one hair. You grow it long. Wow, it looks like it's a full, strong hair. It doesn't look like it's a wimpy, thin, miniaturizing hair. You put a bunch of them in there, it looks even better. You cut it too short, you lose that illusion. Does that make sense? All right, I know that was a little long-winded, but I'm trying to get my point across that, when young men in general ask questions about, hey, my hair doesn't look as thick as I had wanted it to, which is kind of common for everybody young. But then they come in with it shaved, that's a concern. So you have to let a transplant kind of do what it does. And it doesn't have to be super long like a rock band kind of hair length. It just has to allow itself to make that less hairs look like more.
Yeah, that makes sense, Steve. Don't worry, I'm gonna keep my hair long after this. So it's not gonna be shaved again. Guys, hope you liked the video, and thanks, Steve, again for being here. And stay tuned for some more hair-related content coming your way.